When the Florida Keys History and Discovery Center found out they were getting the long-term loan of a cannon believed to have been lost in a famous shipwreck in 1563, they decided they needed a proper display, an honor they bestowed on us here at Campbell Cannon and Carriage Works. But before we get into the carriage, an interesting note about this cannon. It's possible the instance of the wreck this cannon came from may have completely changed the history of the United States. Here's why. In the 1560s, the Spanish were sending ships to the New World to collect gold and other treasures and sail them back to Spain. In 1563, Captain General Juan Menendez was in charge of the galleon La Concepcion. The 500-ton warship was tasked with providing security for a treasure fleet heading back to Spain from the New World. While you may not know Juan Menendez's name, you'll definitely recognize his father, Pedro Menendez de Aviles. His father had done the circuit before and gave his son advice about sailing in the Caribbean. According to Barbara Purdy's book, West of the Papal Lines, the advice was this: in the whole month of July you can come out of the Bahama Channel, but do not sail after the 1st of August because of the great hurricanes. Anyone who lives in Florida or has even watched the news in the past few years knows August and September are the months to buckle down as we see trains of hurricanes coming through. And in the 1500s, the same held true. But Juan didn't heed his father's advice. The fleet of 13 ships set sail from Havana the first week of September, right into the high time of the hurricane season, and a hurricane they found. La Concepcion and another ship, the Ángel Bueno, were reported lost on September 10th. In response to his son's ship disappearing, Pedro Menendez asked the king for permission to sail back to the New World to search for him. The king granted that permission and ships, as long as while he was there, Menendez did some work to establish a Spanish presence in Florida, which at that time was strongly French. While others had tried, Menendez was the first to establish a permanent Spanish presence in Florida, founding St. Augustine, and then repelling the French out of the area through numerous assaults and some lucky breaks. When asked about this historical situation, Paul Robinson, whose family's been part of the search for these ships for decades, summed it up like this: had these two ships not wrecked at American Shoal, bringing Pedro Menendez back to look for his son and subsequently founding St. Augustine in 1565 in an effort to expel the French, and had the French been able to consolidate their presence on the North American coast, all of North, Central, and South America might be speaking French today. Certainly, the balance of power politics on the European continent would have played out differently right up to today. There may never have been two world wars or a United States. World history turned on a dime at American Shoal in 1563. While the ships have never been definitively found, artifacts that fit the time and origin have, including this cannon. Brought to the surface in the 70s were multiple bronze cannon, all from the right time period that they could have been on La Concepcion and Ángel Bueno when they were lost. One of those guns is what we were asked to build a carriage for. The carriage we made for this amazing cannon is based on 16th century Spanish design. It is a simple-looking design, but it was the design of the time. It is made of mahogany. The wheels are made with 4 heavy spokes, mortised, then sandwiched together to hold this shape. The design has ties to the original field carriages that were designed for cannon in the 16th century and before. And although it looks like a field carriage, it isn't. It is the style of naval carriage used on Spanish ships in the 16th century. Later, the design would evolve from 2 wheels and a trail to the 4-wheel or truck designs we're accustomed to when we speak of naval carriages today. This carriage and the beautiful piece of history it holds are both on display at the Florida Keys History and Discovery Center in Isla Mirada. If this is your first time seeing one of Campbell Cannon and Carriage Works carriages, allow me to show you a little more. Our specialty is pre-19th century style lost wax bronze cannon and museum quality replica carriages. We don't offer stock or production pieces. We don't have anything for sale right now because each of our items are custom made. Once we have a project, we do the research and use historical records to design every piece. As each cannon is made to order, every detail, coat of arms, and other accent can be created just the way you imagine. Our bronze cannon are all vertically cast solid for safety and better casting, then bored out in our foundry. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.